good day wherever you are.
So I was just coming. I was just coming to do this, and a friend of mine dropped by, and okay, I guess we're live now. So, Lauren Rowan surfing Vuzuvaya. It's Monday. I usually absolutely love Mondays. Today is a day, and I just had a friend come by my house and tell me to go jump in the ocean because they miss me, and I need to leave my house because I've been having the sads. Shit hurts. Um, on the one hand, they have to feel things. And if we don't sit with things and allow the feelings to be feelings and allow ourselves to feel them, then they build up and they store in our body and they cause all sorts of wonkiness. On the other hand, I can't live in the past. I can't just spend my whole life feeling the grief and sorrow of things that passed. So So yeah, and I guess if it hurts, you're still alive. You're living. Yeah, you're engaging, you're feeling, you're allowing yourselves to feel, you're allowing ourselves to. Then that is brave, I guess, worthy, human. Oh, this humanness. It was much easier when I didn't feel so human all the time. I saw this great astrologer online that said, and it describes so exactly this last many years of my life and experiencing humanness, experiencing maybe some muggle perspective, which I never had. This was never my life. I mean, I did not have an easy life, but I always was up here watching everything. Okay, some people might say disassociated. Tomato, tomato. But what I always had the higher perspective. Even when horrible things were happening in my life, I could see the pain of the people behind the horribleness. I could have compassion for who they were. That was my most natural, was to, and this experience of these last number of years has put me very much more into the human feeling. Just like I was never jealous when I was younger. I just didn't care. I mean, I cared, but I could only care so much. I always had this over perspective of going, oh, well, I can see that person's pain. I can see the situation, and it doesn't matter the jealousy, the ups and downs, the human emotional constant turmoil of humanness is not important. And I still feel that on a lot of levels, and I think that part of that conflict for me is it makes that's part of the conflict for me, is being able to feel and to be able to hold both these spaces at the same time, right? It's always the paradox. Two hands, two hands. So, on the one hand, we have the feelings. On the other hand, we have to keep it moving. Just fucking got to keep it moving. Because regardless, tomorrow isn't going to wait for yesterday to resolve, to make sense. I've talked about this before. Resolution is an illusion. There is no resolution. Life just keeps going. The wheels turning, it can't slow down. There's no way around that. We just keep going. And because a lot of things in life are not going to make fucking sense. They're never going to be all right. You know? There's no justifying insanity. We can have, there's compassion, and then there's just idiocy and, wasting energy, making up stories to justify and explain things that really are just tragic, you know? So I'm not sure I have any grand resolutions except that today I'm waxing my surfboard with the willingness to keep going. You know, it's so cute. Yesterday I was in the SADS. I had plans. I had a bunch of different plans. All day I had plans. Yesterday I did not do any of them. I barely left my bed. Barely left my bed. I was going to make dinner. My friend was, yay for Maria. Thank you, Maria. My friend brought me juice and mineral water, which is like my favorite thing because it's like champagne, but it has no alcohol, so it doesn't make you feel sick after. And there's bubbles. I love bubbles. Burbujas. That's one of my first Spanish words. Burbujas. So I love bubbles. And, but I just needed to sit. It was okay to just sit with my sadness, to give it its time. But then my friends come this because it's so cute. Some of my friends were messaging me like, "Oh, do you want to talk? Do you want to do stuff? Like, I'm sorry you're sad." And it's like, me too, but I feel sad, and I need to feel it. I need to sit with that, you know. And the braveness, the willingness to feel, the willingness to be in it, and of it, and not of it, and outside of it, all at the same time. Boy, I need more hands for that paradox. It's true. It's totally true. It's even funny last night. Oh my God. So, talk about the blessed, though. So many things to be thankful for. So, last night was, I'm doing this month of meditations, and the meditations have been bringing up some very deep awareness. Um, so I've been working through these awarenesses, you know. And I didn't even have to do last night, I think, but I still planned a little bit extra because like 28 days is great, but what if we do 30? What if we do 130? But so on the one hand, I don't want it to end because I'm really enjoying this process. I find it a relief. And on the other hand, it's like everything else, you cannot spend all my energy processing and holding on to the past. Even engaging in the processes to let go of the past cannot take up all my time today because this is life and we have a lot of living to do. And yeah. So, waxing my surfboard with the willingness, and you're welcome to join me, waxing our surfboards with the willingness to experience, with the willingness to be human, to feel, to be here, to be in our feelings, to be okay with not being perfect. Life is not a performance, it's an experience. To be willing to live another day, and feel another day, see what the new day offers us, because I know what yesterday was. I can rewrite the story a million times in my head, but I was there. I know what yesterday was. But tomorrow, I'm very curious about today, about tomorrow. I'm very excited and invested in what the possibilities are, right? And I still very, very much believe in us. I had this faith that I have this faith in humans. However loud the bullshit is, the heart wins. The larger connection, the sweetness wins. It's Lori and Rowan, surfing Vuzuvaya. A moment of honesty, because what the fuck else is there to do? Yeah. I love you and I'm with you and I know you're with me because I can see you. And I'm really glad you're there. I'm glad we're all going through this human experience together. I think it makes it easier. Hugs.